Okay, let's unpack this. So we're diving into a game series today that honestly feels a bit different from most things out there. Animal Crossing.
That's right.
A game with like no big bosses, no levels in the usual sense, just living life.
Pretty much. We're using this book excerpt as our guide to really dig into the history and, well, the evolution of Animal Crossing.
And our mission here.
It's really to understand how this series, which actually started from feelings of loneliness, somehow became this huge global thing people love for being so, cheerful and simple.
Yeah, it's quite the journey, especially when lots of people just know it is paying off your debts to Tom Nook.
Huh. Yeah, he's definitely a central figure. Some might even say the closest thing to a villain, maybe.
Maybe. But let's rewind way back. The source material traces this whole idea back to one person's experience, doesn't it?
It does. Katsuya Iguchi. He was born in Tokyo in 1965. And the whole inspiration, it came from something personal.
Yeah.
In 1986, he moved about 500 miles away from home to Kyoto for a job at Nintendo.
Wow, 500 miles. Back in 86, moving for work, leaving everything familiar. That sounds, well, isolating.
That's exactly it. The source really emphasizes how much he missed his family, his friends, that feeling of being disconnected. And it was that loneliness, but also the opposite, right? The importance of connection, community, family, friendship.
Yeah.
That's what he wanted to somehow bottle up in a game.
To a really personal starting point, when did we first see this idea actually become a game people could play?
The first time was in Japan. April 2001 for the Nintendo 64. It was called Animal Forest back then.
Animal Forest, okay.
And that core gameplay, the stuff we recognize now, it was basically all there. You're a human, you move to a town full of talking animals.
You get a loan from a certain tanuki.
There he is, Tom Nook. And yeah, you spend your time collecting things, fish, bugs, fruit, doing favors for residents, getting gifts, earning bells.
Bells, money.
Right, and using those bells to pay off the loan, make your house bigger, buy furniture, clothes, it set that whole rhythm.
What about the real-time clock? That's such a defining feature. Was that in Animal Forest too?
Yeah, right from the start. And it was huge. You'd set the game's time to your actual real-world time and date.
So if it was nighttime outside, it was nighttime in the game.
Exactly. Seasons changed in the game when they changed for you. It wasn't just scenery. It made the world feel, well, alive and running alongside your own life.
And the towns were random, too.
Yeah, randomly generated. So your town layout, right from the beginning, felt unique to you.
Okay, so N64 in Japan, but then it jumped consoles pretty fast.
It did. Just a few months later, December 2001, an upgraded version came out for the GameCube, and that one was called Animal Crossing.
The name we know. Was it very different?
Fundamentally, no. Same core game. But they added some new animal neighbors and a small thing, but important for players. You could make your own custom patterns for clothes. More self-expression.
And the GameCube version, that's the one that went global.
That's the one. It hit the U.S. in September 2002, then Australia, Europe in 03-04, and the source calls it an instant hit.
So the idea clicked outside Japan, too.
Absolutely. That peaceful, real-time life sim thing, it just resonated. People got it.
Okay, so success on the home console. Where did they go next? Stay on the TV?
Well, this next move turned out to be really, really important for the series. 2005 in Japan and the U.S., 2006 in Europe, they released Animal Crossing Wild World.
Through the Nintendo DS, the handheld.
Exactly, and that felt like a perfect match, didn't it? A game tied to your real life, now you can carry it around.
Yeah, totally. Taking your town with you.
It let people weave the game into their day much more. Wild World also added new stuff, changing hairstyles, more clothes options. You could chop down trees, plant flowers.
Oh, I remember hearing about the flowers, the breeding thing.
Yeah. The source mentions that specifically. Planting, say, a red and a white flower next to each other could sometimes get you a pink one. It was this neat little discovery mechanic.
Rewarding, just, messing around in the world.
Right. And the DS had internet, so you could visit friends' towns, up to 3 other players at once.
Boosting that community feel Iguchi wanted from the start.
Definitely. And Wild World was huge. Sold over 10 million copies by 2009. Portability was clearly a massive win.
Okay, massive handheld success. Yeah. Logically, you'd think they'd stick with that, right? What was after Wild World?
This is where it gets interesting looking back. The next main game, City Folk, in 2008, they went back to a home console. The Wii.
Back to the TV. Okay. What did the Wii version bring?
They used the Wii's features, motion controls for swinging the net or casting the fishing rod.
The waggling?
The waggling, yes.
Yeah.
And the Wii Speak microphone for voice chat with visitors. They also added a new area. You still had your town, but you could take a bus to a nearby city. More shops, different characters there.
Is it so well?
It did okay, yeah. Over 3 million by 2009. Not Wild World numbers, but respectable.
But I sense a but coming. The source mentioned a specific reaction from players.
Yeah, and this is really key for understanding where the series went next. The source points out that a lot of players felt city folk. Well, it wasn't different enough from the GameCube one.
Like mechanically.
Kinda. It had new stuff, sure, the city, the controls, but the core rhythm felt very familiar. And maybe more importantly, people really, really missed the portability of Wild World.
Yeah. So going back to being tethered to the TV felt like a step down after taking their town everywhere.
For a lot of dedicated fans, yes, that portability wasn't just a feature. It had become part of how they played and loved the game. So the source says some fans actually just stuck with Wild World on their DS and waited.
Waiting for another handheld entry. Did Nintendo listen?
They absolutely did. It took a bit longer, 5 years, but in 2013, Animal Crossing, New Leaf launched for the Nintendo 3DS.
Back to portable. Fans must have been thrilled.
Oh, yeah. People were ready. And New Leaf wasn't just a return to handheld. It introduced a major shakeup.
What was that?
You weren't just a resident anymore. The source highlights this big twist. You become the mayor of the town.
Whoa, okay. Mayor. What did that mean in practice?
It meant control. Real control over the town itself. Before, the layout was random, right? Now, as mayor, you decided where to put new buildings, bridges, benches, things called public works projects.
So you're actively shaping the community, not just living in it.
Exactly. You used bells to fund these projects, maybe build a cafe or a police station, or put in a fountain or a lighthouse. It added this whole new layer of long-term planning and customization to the town itself.
Beyond just your own house.
Right. Plus, New Leaf was packed with other additions, customizing the outside of your house, tons of new animals and clothes, more holidays, visiting a special island for mini games.
Sounds like a lot.
And there was the Dream Suite. You could upload a sort of snapshot of your town, and other people could visit it in a dream, even if you weren't online. Great for sharing creativity.
So portability back, plus way more control and things to do. Success.
Huge success. The source calls it the best-selling Animal Crossing game up to that point by 2018. It really showed Nintendo that this mixed portability, deep customization player agency was the sweet spot.
And that success kind of opened the floodgates for other experiments. The source mentions spin-offs.
Yeah. New Leaf was so popular, they tried a couple of different things in 2015. First was Happy Home Designer for the 3DS.
What was the focus there?
It stripped out most of the usual gameplay loop, the collecting, the loan, and focused only on designing interiors. Residents would ask you to design their houses or maybe an office. It also used amiibo cards heavily to bring in specific characters.
Isolating just one part, how did that go over?
Mixed bag, according to the source. Some people loved the pure design focus. Others really missed the rest of the game, having their own place, the gathering. It wasn't the core AC experience for them.
Okay, what was the other one?
Amiibo Festival for the Wii U.
The Wii U. And Amiibo Festival sounds very toy-focused.
It was basically a digital board game like Mario Party, but slower. You used the Animal Crossing Amiibo figures as your game pieces.
And the reception?
Not great. The source is pretty direct. Fans and critics found the gameplay boring. The Amiibo figures are cute, sure, but the game itself just didn't land. Poorly received overall.
So after the high of New Leaf, a couple of spin-offs that didn't quite capture the magic, where did they go next?
Well, the source suggests that after Amiibo Festival's reception, Nintendo looked for a new direction, and that direction was smartphones.
Pocket Camp.
Right.
2017.
Exactly. Animal Crossing, Pocket Camp. The setup was different again. You managed a campsite, not a town. You'd visit these little recreation spots, do tasks for animals there.
And earn materials.
Yeah, like wood, cotton, stuff to craft furniture. Crafting the right furniture was key to inviting specific animals to come hang out or even live at your campsite.
So bringing the crafting element more to the forefront, how did the fan base react to Noble AC?
Initially, it was okay. People were curious. But the source points out that later updates weren't popular, especially around how you earned Leaf tickets.
The premium currency.
Right. It apparently got harder to earn them through gameplay, pushing people more towards spending real money to speed things up or get exclusive items and characters.
The free-to-play monetization struggles.
Yeah, and that soured the experience for a lot of longtime fans. The source says many were disappointed and just kept playing New Leaf, hoping, for a real new main game on a console.
And that wait eventually paid off, didn't it? Leading to the most recent massive entry.
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
March 2020, Animal Crossing. New Horizons arrived for the Nintendo Switch.
The Switch, crucially, a hybrid. Home console and portable.
The best of both worlds, potentially. And again, a totally new premise. No town this time. You're whisked away to a deserted island by Nook Inc.
The Deserted Island Getaway Package.
That's the one. You start with almost nothing, tents. And the progression is about building the island up from scratch. Adding infrastructure, houses, shops, getting villagers to move in. Your island gets a star rating that goes up as it develops.
And crafting became even more central, right? Like Pocket Camp, but integrated differently.
Yeah, crafting tools, furniture, everything, using materials you gather right there on the island. It felt more integrated into the core loop than just a mobile mechanic. But the biggest change in New Horizons...
The terraforming.
Yes, that's what the source really highlights as revolutionary for the series. Once you hit a 3-star island rating, you unlock the ability to literally reshape the land.
Not just placing stuff, but changing the ground itself.
Exactly. Building cliffs, knocking them down, digging rivers, creating waterfalls, making paths. Unprecedented control over your environment. You could truly sculpt your island paradise.
Making every island potentially unique in a way deeper than just layout.
Totally. It fully embraced that player creativity side. And the timing of its release, March 2020.
Right at the start of the global lockdowns for COVID-19.
Yeah, the source connects these dots very clearly. The game launched just as millions were isolating at home.
It became this huge phenomenon, didn't it? More than just a game release.
Absolutely. For so many people, New Horizons became a lifeline. An activity, a routine, a way to socialize virtually with friends you couldn't see in person, a calming escape during a really anxious time. The source even mentions how they added in-game face masks, mirroring reality.
That real-world connection is powerful.
Yeah.
Did the sales reflect that cultural moment?
Oh, unbelievably. It shattered all previous records for the series. The source says over 22 million copies sold in just the first 5 months.
Wow.
It became the best-selling Animal Crossing game ever, by far, and was the Switch's second best-selling game overall in 2020. It wasn't just popular, it was like a defining piece of culture for that period.
Amazing. Now, one thing people absolutely love are the villagers themselves, the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Does the source give any insight into how they create hundreds of unique characters?
It does offer a peek behind the curtain. For New Horizons, there are over 400 villagers across 35 different animal species. The first step, apparently, is the silhouette.
The basic shape.
Right. Each species, cat, hippo, alligator, dog, whatever, has a distinct silhouette so you can recognize the species type even from far away.
Okay, makes sense.
Then, within that shared shape, they make each character unique. Different colors, special markings, different eyes or mouths, unique starting clothes.
Giving them individuality.
Exactly. And the final layer is personality. In New Horizons, there are 8 personality types, like lazy, peppy, snooty, jock. This affects what they say, how they act, who they get along with. Oh, and they all get a name, of course.
So it's that combination. Recognizable species, unique visual details, and a distinct personality. That's how you get characters people genuinely get attached to.
Seems like it. It all feeds back into that original goal of creating a sense of community, right? You build relationships with these distinct individuals.
Looking at this whole arc now, from Iguchi's personal feeling of loneliness to Animal Forest, the GameCube hit, the Wild World portability boom, the Wii experiment, New Leaf's mayor mechanics, the spin-offs, mobile, and then this explosion with New Horizons during a global crisis. What keeps Animal Crossing going strong after, nearly 20 years?
Well, the source points to Nintendo's continued support, like the free monthly updates New Horizons got for a long time, often tied to seasons or holidays, keeping things feeling current.
Like swimming in the summer or Halloween candy in October.
Right. But fundamentally, the developers seem to believe the core appeal is timeless, this fun, peaceful life simulation. The source suggests the series will keep changing, keep evolving, but that core identity is what fans love.
It really is unique in the gaming world, isn't it? A space that's not about winning or losing in the traditional sense. More about just being, nurturing something.
Yeah, community, creativity, finding joy in simple tasks. It offers something different.
So what does this all mean? We've traced its path, seen how it adapted and exploded in popularity. It's clearly resonated deeply.
Immensely.
But that final question lingers. In a world often obsessed with competition, with leveling up, with clear goals and winning, What is it about a game that arguably has no goal, or at least lets you define your own pace and purpose, that captures so many people and provides such genuine comfort?
That's the big question, isn't it? Maybe, just maybe, the lack of a predefined goal is the appeal. In our often high-pressure lives, maybe having a space where the goal is simply to exist, to connect, to create something nice for yourself and your virtual neighbors. Maybe that's not just enough. Maybe that's exactly what people need.
A different kind of reward?
Perhaps. It's definitely something to think about, isn't it? The unique comfort found in just tending your virtual garden.